Hello, hey, we're supposed to do a video on time for school, the video that we watched. And actually, this was actually a quite interesting video. It's kind of funny because a few things they talked about I wasn't aware of as far as things go in other countries. The struggles that they go through to actually be able to study and go to school. First one that they talked about was a kid that lived in Afghanistan. One thing that was interesting is they said that not a lot of them actually got to go to school. I guess that's kind of the case with all of these kind of third world countries, or whatever you want to call them, the ones that are developing, I guess you could say. Not a lot of them go to school, and they go through a lot of trials and tribulation to actually be able to go to school. And in thinking about that, just about the other videos that we watched, knowing that education is such a key factor in your country progressing and actually developing, I can see why we were supposed to watch this video. How education is growing in other countries so they can develop. One thing that I thought was interesting is in Afghanistan there's the Taliban that actually won't let the women go to school and get an education, which was quite interesting to me. I didn't really know about that before, and also war is impeding the studying of these kids. And it's funny because here in the United States we actually don't love to study, but the kids over there are wanting to go to school. They love studying. If they get a chance to study, then they're going to take the opportunity. Here it's just granted, so I guess we don't really appreciate it as much as we should.
Like 70 tomorrow.
And then also they talked about a young kid in Brazil. And one thing that I thought was interesting that Brazil is doing is that they're actually paying poor families so that their kids can go to school. I think they're understanding the idea that in order for a country to progress and to improve, that they actually need to have education and kids being educated so that they can leave their country later on and actually develop new things and get it progressing and developing. And then it says a lot of a lot of violence takes place, which also impedes in the schooling of young kids. It's kind of funny because this kid that's going to school, he actually grew up with. He's only, I think when they were shooting the video, he was younger, but then he was 14 when they started telling about him a little bit. And it was saying that his young friend actually was involved in a gang. So they start out young being involved in a gang. Either you're being threatened by a gang, or you have to be involved so that you're not, that you kind of have some protection, which I thought was sad and didn't really recognize that before. So that also impedes schooling. They drop out of school, jump into gangs, which is pretty sad, and that happens here sometimes, but not as frequent. And education over there is still trying to develop in Brazil, so there's more of that. It's more frequent. And also, yeah, they get into drugs a lot. There's a lot of teenagers that are caught into drugs, and they drop out of school, which doesn't help the progression of the country or the developing of it. And also, one thing that they said that I thought was interesting, and it's very true, is they said if you can succeed in education in school, then you're gonna succeed in life. And I find that to be very true. There's a lot of things to be learned when you're in school. It requires a lot of dedication, persistence, and patience, hard work, and so when you succeed in those things, then later on in life you're gonna have those qualities that will help you have a good life and to provide for yourself and have those attributes that are going to make you be a better person in the world. Also, there was talked about a young girl in India where also they didn't want these young kids to study. The young women, actually, the younger kids, yes, but her family was actually against her studying at all, and they wanted her to drop out, and she kept going and kept going. And the sad thing is she actually ended up dropping out because she was dropped down into a lower grade, which kind of discouraged her, and younger kids that were in her grade made fun of her. So it was kind of sad that way. She ended up dropping out. So, and over there, it's kind of like the way of life is just kind of live to survive and provide for what you need. And so they don't really understand the significance of going to school and getting an education, which is key to everything in a country developing and succeeding in life, or succeeding in the world. So I thought it was actually a very interesting video, and yeah, it was most definitely an eye-opener, and it made me appreciate what we have here even more, and made me hope for those things to develop over there, that they can get a better education and that kids can start going to school more often, not having such a trouble with that. So yeah, I was grateful to be able to watch this video, and I guess that's it for my video, but I really did appreciate it, and I'm gaining a better understanding of what schooling is and why we need education.